Woosah! Elemental Shaman friends out there! Little last look at the Ellie Shaman before we jump into the official Warlords of Draenor release. Just a few weeks away now. Holy crap. Few weeks away. My god, it's actually happening. Ellie Shaman! Most of the WoD beta, has actually been spent, weirdly, trying to get Earthquake to matter. And that seems to have been about it for the Ellie Shaman. They were like, you know what? Fuck everybody taking the piss out of Earthquake. We're going to make Earthquake work. And they have. Surprisingly, how hard it was to get it to work, but Earthquake is now a viable AoE. Works quite well and actually has nice little buffs if you use it correctly. Pretty cool, pretty cool. On top of that, let me just go on record and say this thing is a fucking joy to play, in my opinion. An absolute joy in its Warlords of Draenor format. What's changed then? Why is it so much more fun? In fact, in MOP, I couldn't give two shits about my Ellie Shaman, if I'm honest. Every time I spec it, I go, yeah, it's okay. Lava Burst crits are nice, y'all. And then I go ahead and respec back to something else, probably Resto, in fact. This time round, though, I'm seriously considering my Elemental Shaman Alive to be my go-to alt. Really. I'm having so much fun with this thing on Warlords of Draenor. I've played it continuously, even without recording, just playing around with it, having fun, doing various things. What did they change? Well, not a lot. Basically, one of the biggest changes is so subtle is they just increased the fulmination stacks. It's wonderful. Oh, it's so much better. Why? I always found that fulmination, when in its current MOP form, just always ended up being clunky. It always came up at like the wrong time. It always reached the point where you had to fire it. It was like, ugh, I kind of have flame shot coming up, and it's like, oh my god, what a pain in the ass. So it now takes way more stacks to get to fulmination, and it conflicts with flame shock far less, and that gives it such smoothness. So much smoothness when you're playing that you're just having general fun. You can choose to have more spells like you can on MOP with Elemental Blast, or you can go with Unleashed Fury, which I personally just find way more fun. We've still got the Nightmare of the level 100 talents, but when I say Nightmare in that there's limited choice, and mainly due to the hybrid style of the talent trees, the main go-to is Liquid Magma. I don't actually mind because Liquid Magma is just great. It looks fantastic. It does its job. It's great single target, great AoE. I really like it anyway. I in fact think Storm Elemental Totem is one too many totems. We already have Earth, we already have Fire. Do we need another totem? No. Elemental Fusion is boring. Liquid Magma has both spectacle and effect. It produces, it does its work, and that's fantastic. But that's how the Elemental Shaman is playing. Good news. That's not why I'm enjoying it so much. That's not exactly why. Why is because the Shaman in the WoD dungeon environment is like bringing a nuclear weapon to a knife fight. I'm fucking serious. And for someone who really enjoys being that little bit extra in the group, being that little bit more, not too worried about topping the deeps or anything like that, not to mock people who really like topping the damage, who like to have not only a successful smooth run, but also contribute to that in more ways than just doing damage. Oh, the Elemental Shaman, or in fact the Shaman in general, is just a godsend. There's so much more stuff going on in Warlords of Draenor 5-mans than what we've ever seen in Mists of Pandaria. Probably more in one dungeon than you've seen in all of the MOP dungeons put together. And the Elemental Shaman, or the Shaman, I'll just say the Shaman from now on, actually just carries so many answers. So many answers. There's not a dungeon that goes by where I'm not decursing people, grounding totem coming into full effect again, thank God, interrupting, purging, capacitor totem, tremor totem. All these things I'm using all the time. Not just every now and again, not just once per dungeon, maybe if it's called upon. All the time. Paying close, not just doing even off heals. It's all very well and good being someone who drops the odd healing stream totem or maybe an old healing rain, but now you have so many options to deal with situations. Monitoring patrols, casting that preemptive hex. People are learning the new WoD dungeons, and as such, you can contribute in ways that are just unfathomable in Mists of Pandaria. And for me personally, it's a fucking joy. An absolute joy to behold. It's fantastic. It's really good. I prefer it to the enhancement for this purpose, purely because obviously as a ranged, you just have a better view of the battlefield. You're generally out of range of some really dangerous things like close quarters fears, which allows you to take full advantage of your abilities. There have been some fights on Heroic, I streamed a couple of them where there's things going on like kiting, rooting, and all the time you can be changing your specs, your glyphs, your talents, your abilities to bring... Oh, I'm going to bring in an Earth Grab here. No, I'm going to swap over to a Windwalk. All this stuff, there's so many classes that do not have these choices. They just don't. They can't alter themselves so dramatically to make such an impact on the game. They have one or two ways. The Shaman has tons. Now, it had these before, but they were unnecessary. And while as a Draenor, they're a must. Which leads to a conclusion. If you're looking to play Elemental, or even Enhancement, and you're the kind of person who just likes to do DPS, you might be a little bit bored. There's two ways of playing now. If, on the other hand, you're a guy who likes looking around at things, who likes doing the odd bit of CC, some decursing, some monitoring spells, is there something I should ground here? Should I root stuff? Should I capacitor totem here? Should I do this? Is this a mob that fears? Then you play a different game to the guy who's just doing damage. We could strip away so much from the Shaman for someone who just wants to do the damage, and you will still appear on those damage meters and do fine. Although I must point out that currently Elemental is flat out bottom. That doesn't bother me. It will be balanced. What I just look at is, hey, look at all these buttons. It's like the Shaman just got missed on the spell culling. It just got missed out. It's the only class I need 4 bars for. It's the only class I need 4 bars for. And God, I love it. I absolutely love the amount of utility. I'm just bringing fucking machine gun fire to the fights. And there's other people there who are just begging as they watch the bosses crush them that they could have the same sort of impact. What a great... It's so smooth. In Elemental, it's so fucking smooth. It's so good. I'm really happy with it. And I definitely believe I'm going to use this as my go-to alt for stuff that I want to do. Alright, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.